Never have I been so sad about a bunch of people so bad at their jobs.
They're not bad at their jobs. This is just how shit works now.
It's a hard job.
You know, by the end, they're all dead, and what they accomplish? According
Nothing.
to this movie, not much.
Nothing.
In this movie, nothing.
Turns out.
Although the main guy,
one scene where they actually
do the thing. Anything.
Actually, the guy jumps out. They get the guys.
The main guy though has 9 motherfucking lives. This dude.
He jumps out of a plane and doesn't die. That was a big.
They get the guys on the submarine from Marseille to London, I guess.
Yeah.
Where they
and then they get no money.
Yeah, I think they'll also
all the people they asked shit for.
But actually, right? that's the most successful was the British people getting him there. There wasn't the French resistance doing it.
I feel like the only person that got shit done was the woman. She got shit done, or at least it felt like it.
How'd that work out for her?
You know,
not well.
This could have been remade as an American comedy about incompetent French resistance fighters. A little bit like was it?
Oh my
Top
God.
Secret? You know, it would have worked really well that way. But
no, I mean that's like
the French Hogan's Heroes. Yeah,
you're watching like by the time this movie is like going, like everybody in Paris has basically done the whole French "we surrender" thing, and they're just like living with it and like trying to make it work for them, while one by one people get picked off for I don't know nothing.
Yeah,
but like this was another one of those movies where the first 40 minutes I was struggling hard because people were behaving and like when they pick up the guy who ratted out the protagonist who gets him in there, right? When they pick up the guy, he's so. I mean, if you knew you were going to get whacked, would you make a little bit of noise?
No,
yeah, he was.
But aside from his passivity, that was actually a brilliant scene because
he keeps thinking it's going to work out in his favor.
Yeah, and also the thing is, what's great is that scene is that actually they keep going to like, no, we can't shoot him. Make so much noise. The kid's downstairs. How are we gonna do this quietly? And it's fun to watch him kind of.
I have never seen that scene.
Yeah. It's like we're just gonna put in a cloth and
go get a knife.
Exactly.
A knife from where?
A knife from where? Exactly. That was actually my favorite scene of the whole movie.
My favorite scene. I was on the fence, like I don't know if I love this movie or fucking hate this movie until we get to the paratroop scene and the guy's on the plane with glasses taped to the side of his
coming off, man.
And that was where it's like
Band-Aids, right?
From that point on, this movie just got better and better and better.
No, I think this movie started out amazing. I mean, the opening shot, and then our main protagonist riding in the back of the cab with the officer, and he's handcuffed, and he's just got this like. Yeah, it's just, hey, I'm here. And I think you guys are, we talk about it in generalities and we're being glib, but this movie is a work of art, just like everything I've seen from Melville. This is him being more mature, more doing more of an epic rather than just a dudes with guns and trench coats movie.
Talking about his time in the French Resistance.
Yeah,
obviously this was personal to him. I mean, this is.
But hold on. Let me lay some context down a little bit. This was 1969, right?
Yes.
And we've had war movies up to this point, like like the stuff in the 40s is all like heroic Americans fighting the Nazis, and it's like there was clearly delineated heroes and villains and that kind of thing. Later on, in the later 60s, things got a little more complex, and so you started talking about maybe the Americans weren't so great. There, maybe the Germans were misunderstood, maybe the kind of thing. Everybody had a right to live, kind of thing, and so there was more complexity in war movies later on. Kelly's Heroes is just an extreme example of this. But this is part of that trend. This film is part of that. Let's take a good hard look at everything that happened in the war, unromantically. That was happening in all different British, American, German, Japanese cinema at the same time.
Movie is certainly not romantic.
Yeah, it was like this was not a romantic film about war. Was it? This is a film about how everyone's fucking up and how hopeless it all was.
Yeah, it was like this is a movie about how terrible it was to be part of the French Resistance.
Yes, it was. That's
the only thing they really accomplished was
how simple.
But also how terrible that time was.
Jim,
how terrible the war was.
Jim, yeah, what you're saying?
Simple acts of terror can go wrong, horribly wrong, and like everything they do goes wrong at some point.
Yeah.
Except this homeboy had a very successful escape right out of the gate.
That was pretty good. That was great
He's
escape.
just
And
lucky
my
that he
my
doesn't
favorite
get killed,
my favorite scene in
Yeah.
the movie is when he
Yeah,
gets
he
a
pretty much
shave.
sacrificed that other guy so that he could get away. It's like,
Yeah, but
He's
the
like,
best,
go run, go run. Go
that's
run.
but my favorite scene is the shave. That's because he
Yeah.
to have a character who is running for his life, literally ducks into a fucking barber shop and
what do
has
you
to
want?
sit there and get a shave. I thought this is there's so much brilliant writing in this movie. There's so many brilliant situations.
Let me get your change.
Yeah,
Let me
get your change.
Exactly.
Because halfway through, or maybe not even halfway through, probably right away, the barber knows, I know what's going on here. I'm going to help you out.
Right.
And you know, and also the paratrooping thing. That scene was
You see
dealt
the same thing with
magnificently.
the lady and the kid
Yeah.
when they were looking
Yes.
through the baggage.
She didn't question it when he picked up the kid.
Right.
He picks
And
up
also
that
it's got
girl
one
and
of those,
starts talking with her, and
that
she
scene
says,
That was actually a lot of fun, that scene.
Yeah.
That scene is amazing because it's like, oh, this is just what you do. Because if you look like a family, they're not going to search your bags.
Right.
The scene where
Well,
the scene where Gavier just fucking gets that knife and just stabs the dude right in the fucking throat.
That's what I'm saying. That's the
It's
escape.
so good. It's
So good.
Just perfect.
And this also has one of the best. This
Yeah, that's fun.
This has one of
Hello?
the best. This has one of the best. We're in disguise and we're at the gates and we have to say hi to you. Like every movie does that.
The one that
But this is
the one in the truck you're talking about?
yes, in the truck.
That whole
But
scene
this does it so well because what did we learn from this movie? Shut the fuck up and don't say anything.
no, but
If you just don't say anything, then they go okay. And
The lady
the
who
woman is the only one that
speaks
talks.
German shit.
but that's
Yeah, the woman speaks. She has the papers. They get in and out of there for real. I was like, this is brilliant. Like the whole thing, like, how
But-
long it took.
it completely failed. That's the
Yeah, it
thing.
failed because the dude is dying.
I know, but it's
Right.
like
They don't know this.
But they don't know this. It's great because it's like you talk about a slice of life. These guys put this
It's
thing
fucking
together.
awesome.
Well, all these resources, find the truck, find the uniforms, get in there, make the lines, make the papers like that. At the
It's
end, it's
amazing.
like, oh, you can't have him. He's dead, or he's
Yep.
going to die. And so
Or
the
he's
whole
dying.
the film spends 20 minutes on this completely failed mission. It's really
And she has to.
interesting.
And she has
Which
to.
is thematically the way the whole thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
exactly.
brilliant.
I will say one thing about the filmmaking on this, and I was thinking a lot about. Weirdly, I was thinking about Inglourious Bastards a couple of times.
No, I can see why.
There's something about the way that this guy makes a movie where, like the scene you're just describing, where they have to go in the fake medical truck.
Right.
There's a way that this guy shoots and edits that there's a lot of dead space where like nothing is happening and the situation is tense, but I don't feel like the filmmaking is adding anything to that tension. Where I think about something like Inglourious Bastards, whether it's the scene with the guy talking to the commandant when there are people hiding under the floorboards, or the scene in the bar with three, or like there are things you can do as a filmmaker to amp up, like by the end of it you're fucking sweating.
Right.
I just don't think this guy knows how to do. But the movie's so good, it doesn't really matter. But like there were several moments in this movie where I should have been sweating, and I wasn't. And I think
Chris, every Melville that we've watched that's sort of a summary of how I feel like his filmmaking is.
A little disappointed,
like-
Because
little
he's a
disappointed.
fucking French filmmaker, you guys, and I'm gonna respond to Chris by
It's
saying,
kind of tepid the way he
It-
stages things.
but Chris, you're Americanized, dude, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but you are used to a certain kind of fucking filmmaking, and this guy, to me, I think that fake try and rescue situation was one of the best versions of that I've ever seen, and it is because of this silent space that you're talking about. I think that is a strength in filmmaking. I think Americans don't know how to do that.
No.
And I think that it's fucking phenomenal. And I think I love them both. They both work. I'm just saying that like it's a different kind of art. And if you want that like Tarantino, Spielberg, American, we got to get you, blah, 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 blah. Like it works. It's great. But
I'm gonna
I think this is more contemplative. It's
I
more
agree with
mature.
Chris and Jared.
No, I'm backing you, Jared, up. The thing is, Melville deals with reality. He doesn't add a drama that's not necessary. He's very much into it.
He's not putting any spice.
No, he's not.
And when he uses incidental music, it's always like after something has happened and basically nothing is going on.
You saw the same thing in Red Circle. It's all just, there's nothing in that film that wasn't realistic. Everything that wasn't like an objective eye.
Yeah,
That's what you have in this film too. An objective eye. Every time he's not goosing it. He's not adding a lot of excess drama. Oh, that freaking scene. Okay, part. You know what? I'm sorry. This scene where they rescue him, they get him out there.
Apocalypto, baby.
God, I thought this was Owl Creek Bridge at the end. I thought he actually died and imagined he lived. You know what I mean? I didn't buy it. For like 5 minutes, I'm like, no way he got the fuck out of there. There's no way.
Like, how can you miss when you're strafing the whole room with a machine gun?
But then we find out that Homegirl was dropping those bombs and they pulled him up.
I know, but still.
Was any of this true? Like, did this actually happen, or is it all bullshit at the end?
A lot of it is true.
Does anybody know?
I'm sure a lot of this was true.
Well, no, I mean, those title cards at the end make it sound like these were all real people and this is what really happened.
No, that's not true. But this is based on like real incidences.
George Lucas saw this film. This is like the anti-end of American Graffiti.
The end of American Graffiti. Totally. Hey, speaking of other things that reminded us of, you know what I kept coming back to, and I think it's partly the era and sort of the sensibility, and definitely the music. But also Melville's stillness, the way he just sort of sits on shots. I kept thinking of La Jetée.
Okay, that's valid.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, Melville just
I don't
the new wave by like 10 years. Or
God, I just love whoever doing the photography for Melville's films. It's so gorgeous.
As I understand it, this movie,
lighting is good. The colors are good.
This movie was lost to time. Like apparently they thought that there was one print and it basically.
Oh, you're kidding!
And that the cinematographer who is still alive was able to supervise the reconstruction of what we just watched.
Wow!
It was available in the US until 2006.
Damn.
So is it reconstructed from the original negative, or do they use an exhibition print? Or
they thought that it was done. Like this is a movie that apparently hadn't even ever been released in America.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I never heard of it.
Well, it's been on the Criterion for a while, but I had only seen La Samurai before Tad selected that, and I think this is his third Melville. And
this is our third Melville.
And I can't thank him enough, because I mean I loved Les Samurai when I saw it on my own, and then I was happy to watch it again. And I love La Circle Rouge, like was just amazing. And this one, and I feel like I understand Melville sort of as a filmmaker, because first I want to say that he's my favorite sort of fedora trench coat filmmaker of all time.
Oh, boy.
But also I think here he's doing something different. Yes, and I love how much, dude, it's so freaky how much Vincent Cassel looks just like his dad.
Yeah, it's weird.
And his dad is great. And we saw his dad also in La Cérémonie, by the way, as the father. But I think that like Melville, I can see Melville doing his different, he's got he kind of has the market on these awesome gangster, French back alley, back street,
like French mayhem.
Yeah. And then he brings this though, which is on a different, like I saw it as a more mature something, almost an epic quality to, taking on really, really serious subject matter that did happen, not just gangsters in back streets with guns, which is also awesome, but this is like a serious film. All of his work is serious, I'm not saying that, but I like his diversity here. I like his.
It was interesting to see him do something different, because we've watched two gangster movies.
Also, a big
shot behind Chris, though. I just got to bring up. It's like it's the French Resistance, and we will drink. And there was soup. There was hot soup while they were making plans.
They ate and drank well the entire.
They ate and drank well always.
No, this you could fault film made in '69 for being set in 42 or 43. This film was flawless in terms of in terms of being a period piece.
Yeah.
I never saw not a hair out of place the entire film.
It was probably easier in '69.
I know,
that far away.
There's a lot of films a lot of shots in Marseille in the alleyways and it's perfect. It was just perfect.
Well, I looked. Apparently, Simone Signoret asked Melville for that last shot when she's getting whacked. Question that she should have on her face. She apparently asked Melville like what look do you want me to throw at the camera? He's like, well, that's up to you. You need to ask yourself,
You mean this scene?
were you a traitor or not?
Yeah.
And so that look on her, I mean, like he wasn't going to tell her what to do. He's just like, do you think you were
See, and that's why this writing is so brilliant, because the guys who are our guys who fucking snuff her out know that she's actually not a traitor. I mean, they kind of
they're
deduce.
filled with they are filled with regret. Every one of them.
It was like Sophie's.
Well, because they're like she ratted on herself, and so
yeah,
because she wants us to take her out because she knows that's the only. I mean, it was kind of beautiful and sad and gross and brilliant, and
the circumstance was awful. It's like your daughter is going to be taken to like a whorehouse in Poland.
Polish whorehouse.
I know. It's like it was, and it's like, and then of course she ratted, you know,
for people coming off of the front.
I know. It's like it was just awful. It was one of the gut wrenching.
Unless you rat everybody out. I mean, like this is.
And Shoei rat a few people out, mind you.
Well, no, and then
she put it mostly on her.
Yeah, the boss has to like roll out. Like I heard the whole thing. Like that everything in that entire scene before they get in the car to go kill her is so fucking good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
Again, like, and there's no spice on the filmmaking. It doesn't matter. It's really
the content. Yeah.
No,
it doesn't need any spice.
No, there's no allspice, and this is exactly no herbs de Provence in this thing. It's straight up.
Clear something up for me though, real quick. So when Simone Signoret is sitting there having a cigarette, waiting for the guards to do whatever the fuck they're doing, and she looks over and she sees that bunch of
poster.
Is that a most wanted sign, or is that something else?
No, it names what's his name.
It's saying these are members of the resistance that you need to look out for, and it's our guy.
Yeah.
My first wait, he's a double agent? No, it's most wanted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what Chris is getting at.
Yeah.
Bleak and weirdly introspective, this movie.
It was.
There's a lot of voiceover where it's like it's almost like it's all in the past and he's reflecting on it, even though it's happening to him at the moment.
Yeah. Right. An interesting thing is, even though a lot of stillness and a lot of waiting occurs, the action scenes are all truncated or happen off screen. I mean, she's like the first time somebody actually gets shot that you see blood.
True.
Yeah.
Even that shot.
Even when the Nazis are mowing down machine gun, you don't see any blood. It's just like you hear the machine guns.
You get so many scenes of that toy airplane hanging from that.
Oh, that was okay. That was important.
Then they were landing a real airplane at the estate. It was like, oh, they got a real plane now.
I actually wish they would have done that whole scene.
The Baron,
in that
right? That was the resistance. The guy, the Baron, who was helping out the resistance with his airplane. And he got wiped out too, right?
Yep.
Off screen.
Everybody dies in this movie.
Every single person in this film dies.
That's actually different from American movies too, in that, you had people, the first people, when he goes to the camp, the POW camp, he meets like Algerians, he meets Russians, there's all these people, and they, and there's, I don't know what to say, it's, the one kid is a communist. He's friends with the Catholic, the guy who's dying. He won't leave until the guy dies. And then
I know it's
kind of thing. And
this is the nice concentration camp.
The Baron is a monarchist. He goes, I can't stand the fucking French Republic.
I know. It's funny because you point out the fact that this film is kind of episodic. There's like there's story A, then there's story B, and it's like one thread of the guy going through the resistance.
This guy should have died. Like,
there's not a lot of connective tissue in this film. It's all a bunch of stuff.
But this main guy should have died like 1,200 times, and he's still.
What I thought Jim was going to say was like, if in another movie or maybe a more conventional movie, those people you met in the POW camp, you would have seen them again.
Yes.
They would have popped up as they would have become supporting
people disappear. I mean,
everybody's dead.
And that's the way when he was hiding out in that abandoned house at the end. He says, "And I never see any of them again."
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
So it's that there is that episodic quality of you're working for the resistance. The less you know, the better.
The guy who's the chief or the patron, as they call him, the boss.
The boss.
Like when the other guys show up, who are like, there's no doubt that they're not they're not traitors. But he's like, don't tell them I'm here.
Yeah.
You should go to the back room, you know. It's like nobody trusts anyone, basically. And yet they do trust each other in a way.
Yeah, they have to some extent, right?
Well, anything about your own film, Tad, or just you kind of like,
Nah,
all right. Well,
I got it.
if I was to rate this against the other two, against Samurai and Cirque Rouge,
Oh God, way better.
no, I think Cirque Rouge is my favorite. I love the caper. I thought it was just beautifully executed. And this is probably my second. That Samurai was a little bit overindulgent, but they're all really good movies. Melville is
This Cirque
that
Rouge.
fucking guy knows what he's doing, man. It's like,
Turns out that guy who invented
I-
movies.
yeah,
I agree.
I kind of like.
I think this movie is
Yeah, Chris, I'm
particularly
I'm in
smart.
your ranking.
Yeah, I can't. Samurai's got that horrible mustache, so it's number 3.
Oh, the mustache.
Yeah, that was
No,
Cirque
that was
Rouge.
the Circle
That's the
Rouge.
Circle
Samurai has
Rouge. You
no
hate the
mustache.
mustache.
You're right. You're right. Fine.
No, Samurai was.
Samurai's
the-
got more walking down the
Still,
street
you know
and
what?
sitting in
I'm
cars.
still, no, my ranking is still this Cirque Rouge Samurai.
Same.
Yeah.
I
This
Circle
is-
Rouge on top of this, but it's just pretty good.
I might be with Scott, but I think this movie is incredibly smart. I think this movie is
It challenges you. It challenges your morality.
Honestly,
This film. This
like-
film was in your face. It says these guys who you hear about who are heroes, they're not heroes. They're goddamn. They're murderers, man.
These are
This
the
is one of
good
those
guys.
movies-
These are the good guys. Exactly. So it's
It's
great.
just- it's
I love
just a
that
lot more
talent.
Better
complex.
than the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. They're
This is
barely
one of
better
those
than that guy.
movies that when the credits start rolling, it's like a sledgehammer has just whacked me in the head, and I'm just sitting there going, whoa.
That's good, man. All right.
Also, this is the most colorless color film.
It's
It's
well,
just
other
shades of
than-
gray,
no,
man.
The
you know
other
what?
one we saw this week
Other
was
one.
much
This is-
less colorful.
this
yeah,
is
that's-
exactly not
Gray
in
and
tone
blue,
and
that was gray and green.
Yeah.
not in tone and feel, but in strictly look. This would be what if David Fincher was making a movie in '69, it would look like this.
True.
Oh, that's actually probably right. All right.
Because I
Like you were shot in Eastman color, right?
Yeah, it was. Or Pathé color or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
I guess we can go to the cards at this point.
Oh,
two huge thumbs up
Yeah, I like
Oh,
for this one.
Big
This
thumbs
is
up.
amazing.
I was like,
I like
I'm
this movie a lot.
you know, this show exposed me to Melville, and he's amazing.
I've never seen any of these
well,
movies.
I only seen the one, so I'm so happy that we're keeping because this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I think
It's
I
it's
do.
definitely for a war film. It's a unique war film.